Hi, I'd like to talk about a 3-week vacation project I've been working on. Most people on their vacation might spend it out in the sun, on vacation or with friends and family, but I've instead chosen to allocate my time to hacking some code. What we see here is a graph-based resource production system where nodes in the graph tree are things like farms, villages, lumber mills, quarries, etc. These nodes take resources as input. For example, the farm takes labor and produces food, or the lumber mill produces wood. This kind of system is not something I've uniquely come up with. It's a rather common system, especially in many games like Transport Tycoon and Rise of Industries. These nodes are then connected in the graph tree using links, which in this case are symbolized as roads, but could be anything. I have some connections which are flying connections. How things are connected doesn't matter so much. Resources are transported in this graph as these colorful blobs. The color of the blob indicating what kind of resource. For example, blue is labor, green is food, and the black-gray here is stone, I think. This system that I've implemented is not really playable in the sense that you can win or lose it. There are no objectives, no tasks to complete. It's purely a sandbox demo thing where I've been sort of experimenting with this kind of system. How you can set it up, how you can run it, how you determine where to transport resources. There, for example, is a sort of market system that mediates where resources should be transported based on a sort of optimization algorithm. It tries to match consumers and producers based on the availability of resources and the need of resources, and also distance in the transportation network. So it tries to prefer connections that are close over far connections. This mediator system is very simple, can be done in a more sophisticated way, but it has been fun investigating during these 3 weeks. This is a system that I initially wanted to have on the Orbis Multiplex project. Orbis Multiplex hasn't been developed for quite some time. At the point where I left it, it was mostly a world generator where you couldn't do that much with it. And it's still left at that point. But my plan was always to implement a system similar to the one I've done this summer and have it run on the planet. I think long term that is still my aim. I think it would be very interesting to have a world like Orbis Multiplex with sophisticated topology and climate, with temperature and biomass distributions and elevation, for example, and a hydrological aspect with rivers and drainage basins, etc. To have that interact with the production cycle of a system like this, and to make the transportation network depend on the topology of the world. This continent here, for example, is a rather big continent. It has many rivers that make up quite a lot of different drainage basins, meaning You can't do river transportation between them. They are separate networks. And it also has quite a lot of mountains. So if you were to have a network of roads here, how those roads are positioned and the distribution on transportation load on that network would be quite interesting. It's quite hard to have roads 2,000 meters up in the mountains, for example. What kind of load can you have there? There would be a bottleneck most likely here if you want to connect to different areas. So I think that was the main reason why I created the world in the first place. I wanted an interesting world to implement a sort of gameplay system like this. Now they are two separate things, and I think for some time they will remain two separate things. The Orbis Multiplex project is in need of refactoring and maybe rework, so I don't want to integrate this directly with the Orbis Multiplex. But I am, during the autumn, thinking about maybe making a standalone project where I refine this transportation and production system more on its own. I think that would be quite interesting. There is, for example, quite a lot of literature on things like land use optimization and transportation network distributions. And I think I'm not sure how scientifically accurate I want to make these simulations or how much of a game I want to make it. I think those are two very different things. A simulation, the aim of a simulation is to mimic reality and to learn something about reality. The aim of a game is just to entertain you. Those are two different things, and I think it's hard to make a project that satisfies both. So there's a gradient there. How much do you want it to be scientifically and simulation-wise accurate, and how much do you want it to be gameplay-wise fun? There is a interesting middle ground there. There are quite a lot of other games in this genre. The most prominent that I think about is Transport Tycoon. Transport Tycoon is a rather old game, but despite the graphics, it's pretty good. You are basically in charge of building a transportation network based on existing nodes and hubs. You cannot build cities in this game. You cannot build factories or farms or mines. You can only build a transportation network. And I think that limitation creates a rather interesting game. You don't have control over everything. If a farm or a city is not suitably placed, you can't change it. You need to work around it. That limitation, I think, adds a lot to the gameplay. And its scale is quite amazing. There is a newer version, or not version, but a similar game called Rise to Industries. Has some similarities. You build transportation networks. It's not as deep. In this game, you yourself build farms and factories, removing that limitation that existed in Transport Tycoon. Without that limitation, I think the game lacks some depth and complexity that Transport Tycoon had, but it's still a good game in other sense. There are also games like Per Aspera, where you are harvesting minerals from a planet, and in this game you are in charge of both producing or building the transportation network and constructing production nodes. I think it's mostly a story-based game. The like production and transportation system, I think has potential, but it's a bit shallow the way it's implemented at the moment. So this is not something I would like to implement, like mirror or copy myself, but the concept is rather interesting. So how I want to go forward with my own project, a bit uncertain. I'm also a bit uncertain about the discrete versus continuous aspect of this system. What I've done in my little sandbox here over the summer, this is a continuous system. You can construct farms anywhere. There is no grid that lets you snap here. You can construct absolutely anywhere. You can make the connections anywhere. This has some advantages. It creates a system that is very free in the sense that you are not very limited. But it has some drawbacks, and that is that if you have an underlying world that is grid-based, it is discrete. For example, like the planet in Orbis Multiplex. It is trickier to have the transportation network and production nodes be continuous in this network. You would need to interpolate between discrete world data and such. Interpolation, querying and sampling is a lot more expensive than sampling. In a discrete system, you simply sample the tile that you're placed on. But there are pros and cons. I think that is mostly what I wanted to share today. The project is available on itch.io, where I uploaded it under the Orbis Multiplex project, because I think that's the most related, even though it's not the same. And I named it ESP Demo, Economical Simulation Project. If you want to try it out, feel free to do so. There are 2 different scenarios. You can do a more basic scenario that doesn't have that many production buildings and is a bit bare bones. Or you can run the bigger system that has more variety. No gameplay, but you can play around with it if you want. Also, if you would like to let me know your opinion on the discrete versus continuous aspect that I talked about. What is your opinion? Does it make sense to try make a project that uses that allows you to freely, continuously position nodes, or should you snap to a grid? Please let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.